Good morning. Good morning. Um, Today I'm going to talk about how the world is different now and how appropriate attention to this phenomenon by our legal system has been neglected heavily, and how it needs to be immediately addressed. There is no doubt in my mind that we have all been moved into what can only be described, and I've talked about this before, but it's a digital casino. And there's a few things going on as to why this is happening. But it's extremely bad and it needs attention immediately. To compare it to something like climate change is a bit ridiculous, because the reason we're in this climate emergency is because of this. So every single climate catastrophe that you want to go on about is caused by this, first and foremost, plus a bunch of other things that just affect humans, which we should also be concerned about. See, the reason we're all concerned about polar bears is the same reason we're all concerned about bipolar disorder or prostate cancer or high blood pressure or the 1,000 or easy car finance, or does our seating arrangement reflect our fucking... It's a non-stop sales extravaganza, and it's not just selling you things, it's selling you concepts of what you are. And this is extremely dangerous, because it leaves you in, like, it's like a backpack that you're being given as a child. Most cases now, like very young children are just wheeled straight into the casino and just absorbing this rhetoric from every sense that they can, witnessing this as the norm. Down every pathway. It basically loads you up with a bunch of, here's a bunch of negative things that can happen to you or that you should be worried about. And here's a bunch of positive things that you should be obsessively pursuing to purchase. And it's like from my generation, so I'm 38, we understand this like materialist, like this is this, and we've had like new age hippies and stuff telling us all this material. I'm not even in that. I'm not even talking about that shit, because most of those people are now just selling something else, and they're selling you the doubt that you don't have therein life, whatever the fuck it is. So it's all annoying, and they've just participated in it. It's actually very difficult to address the main cause. But basically, as the population goes up, as our ability to communicate goes up, the most commonly distributed content is sales content and marketing content. And this is like a 6-7 like kind of balance where things are created, which is like doubts are created so that you can sell to the doubt. And then products are created, and then conceptual frameworks are created. Everything just keeps getting created, but there is no garbage pickup. There is no roadside pickup for all the shit that they've given you since you were born. And that's a really big fucking problem. And this is like, if I go into most suburban houses, those people, like, it shocks me to how many things most people are going through. It's like products, food, furniture, just clothes, fashion, fucking all of it, just down the fucking like cars. It is ridiculous because no one is recognizing what that fucking like. So we take Al Gore and his graph. It's like, let's look at consumerism. Like, I know, according to this timeline, I'm a newcomer. And I've already watched materialism go like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times where it should be. Weirdly, during the time of the internet paradigm, which is just ancillary. So whereas I've done a unique thing where I'm like, I bought into the internet thing. It's just no one else did it. I was like, oh, cool. Oh, we don't have to have all this shit. I'm like a minimalist by desire, but not by practice, unfortunately. Well, I might be if I could get freed up from being a journalist deep inside this fucking casino to just be able to settle the couple of things that I would like and to settle like an arrangement with time and space, which is what people have done. Like, that's what people used to aspire to. There just weren't things. Like there were people, it's like, not that long ago, it's like, if there wasn't, like, if you didn't need to travel, right, you didn't have a horse and cart. I think this is a pretty good example. Like, our cities grew without cars. And then cars have been, like, forced into them. At first, this was just the people that could afford cars. And then by the time cars were being mass distributed, it was like, I guess everyone wanted to turn. And this is what's insanity, because it's like not everyone in the city had a fucking horse and cart. That would be ridiculous. Like, we used to know how to design spaces and concepts to do with people. Now it's just sell. And it's people that some of the worst ones, the reason I go against doctors and surgeons and things quite a lot is because, like, testably and provably, there is still a belief that these people are there for good. And that's just not fucking true. Like, it doesn't matter whether they went in there for good. It's just not true. It's like, they are running a business. The baselines of running a business mean they have to participate in this, which means unnecessary surgeries, which means, like, you know, scrupulous fucking marketing practices and diagnosis. Like, but that's not being perceived as the state. So there's this mass denial that we're in this. And the main problem is, like, yesterday I spent all day, you know, sharing that photo where I'm pointing at a door in a courtroom. There's no fucking door outside of this. And this is an inversion of every historical reference I can find. There have always been places that act as casinos, right? Or as places of adult entertainment, all these things. I'm actually in support of that. You know, with the entertainment, like music, things like that, comedy, all these things that I enjoy, they wouldn't be art forms if it wasn't for those places. That's an ancient kind of interaction. But this is stripping it from all ends because it's all at home. It's like, I specialized here and I learnt my craft here and I got paid nothing for it. And my result is that I'm going to fix it and I'm going to expose how bad it is from, like, a moral, which is so weird. Like, you'd never have a musician doing this in a pub or a club and nightclubs or casinos, or a comedian, whatever, then claiming like you're immoral. And if I went to those places, I wouldn't do that. That would be kind of bagging out your own audience. But what I'm doing here is I'm like, hey, you're not, like, this audience doesn't fucking work. You've stolen the whole thing. You've turned the whole thing into a casino where children are just wheeled in from infants and spoon-fed this bullshit that is not structurally sound. It cannot work. Because we can't, there was a percentage of time. It's almost like sin. There was a tithing towards sin. This is how we actually operated as humans. There was a sin tithing. It's like people felt the sin urge and they would go to places and they would pay to experience sin. And they knew when they left the place that the sin stayed there. And then the Christianity kind of cleared up all the moral whatever in the thing. It's very similar to like confession. It's a bit, and that's actually how we were set up as humans, at least in the Western world, at least in, this country and the country of my ancestors. Now we're literally in a state where it's like, it's either solitude to find something that isn't sin, or maybe church, and then even church is being, cast with the same thing. So it's like that is being played as, and it's like, it's getting old. It's ruining what was actually going on. In the same way that if we were forced to constantly make confession, which is kind of what I'm doing here, but not really. I'm trying to get to the bottom of something that has happened so quickly, that has taken the world by storm, that has snuck in every single back door and is sitting in everyone's lounge room. And it's like, it's not good. And it's provably not good. It is provably an anomaly to do with our humanity's appropriate trajectory, because we're being conned, not just by the millions and millions of people that are now being forced to, operate in a con type environment, but we're being conned by the computers that they're using to do these cons. Like the computer itself is conning us, which it is way smarter. It doesn't eat, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't do anything. It's like, this has already all happened in the stock market. But every single person and child specifically cannot be responsible for having to combat supercomputers that are trying to con them into thinking that they're shit. And unfortunately, you break down marketing for the last 100 years. That's what it is. Marketing makes you feel shit, and then it sells you the thing that makes you feel better. Whether it does or doesn't matter. That is marketing. And this is hell on earth that we are all living in. And it's got to be fixed. There has got to be places where basically everything that you're doing on the internet, there is a place you go to. And then you live in proportion to that place, to the proportion that you wish to participate in that activity. That is the only way that this can be organized. So you can immediately see if shopping is one of these activities that is causing this, fashion being one of the most environmentally destructive, and I think no one ever talks about what it steals from humans. It's like fashion used to be done by each person individually with a sewing machine and some fabric. That's stealing your humanity. That is stealing an avenue of your creativity away from you. And it's being sold to you as a convenience and as an elite thing. It's like that you cannot get more elite than making your own clothes. You can't. You can't get more bespoke and more like whatever. That is the pinnacle. But that's not being sold as the pinnacle. It's being sold as the pinnacle to go and buy the same dress that every other girl has, or same pants every other guy, the same car, all this shit. And to have that conveniently located. And now you don't even need to be located because it's delivered to your fucking door. But none of this works in practice. You know what I mean? The proximity that we all have to experience this is like pornography. It's like you used to, if you wanted to experience the level of pornography that is available to every child now who has a fucking smartphone, which is a huge proportion of them. you would have to like be in a city, navigate your way to like some dodgy part of the city, usually at night, and then go through an elaborate series of like gatekeepers in order to experience something like this, maybe. And now it's right next to the Uber app and the McDonald's drive-through app and the Uber Eats app and Wordle. So think about that. Wordle. So do you have Words with Friends on your phone? Right. So it's like you've put the pornography on the fucking bookshelf. It's not even in like a. It's not even in a like high in a closet or it's just, it's literally there. It's the same infrastructure. And this is where, like, when I talk about things like the iPhone cult, like that you can't disconnect one node from it. And this is where all these companies have fucked themselves. I made fun of the Pope having an app because I think that's so funny. That's the end of the road. It's like the Pope can't have an app. That means the Pope is right next to the fucking brothel on the same thing. It doesn't work. It's kind of the end of the trick. It's like, holy shit, this is weird. All because of this sold convenience that it fits in our pocket and it's one device. Sometimes things that make sense practically, like, for the manufacturer and for the distributors and all these things, they don't make sense for humans. And I could sit here honestly and list out about 10 different examples of what this is, but I'm not going to. Like, what's next? Do we just have streetwalkers in suburbia? Because that's already where we are. Do you know what I mean? This is like things are being trialed in the internet that are going to exist in the real world. And it's going to take a calculated effort by a, actively participating population to appropriately like defend against this encroachment and practically, put up the restrictions that are necessary in order to maintain civilized society. Like, this is the basics. Like, I've gone from my childhood being told that parents shouldn't be leaving their children in the car as they go to the casino. That was terrible. And now it's just like, now you don't even need to go to the casino. And the kids are just in there with you. And it's everywhere. Let's put some percentage points on that. What is that? How many percentage points of change is that? The society goes from, hey, don't get drunk and leave your kids in the car at the casino while you go and gamble and drink and smoke. Like, we get this image, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. That was, and people will be like, that was the old days. Like, people were just so reckless with their kids. But it's like, well, now we're 1,000 times worse. At least, like, people knew to not make the whole place a casino, to not just fucking, like, turn the other way, turn the other cheek and ignore it, the fact that a casino in digital form is emerging around you. And it's not hard. It's like, what conquered the internet was pornography and online gambling. And then gossip and voyeurism on social media. They're all very specific, things that go along with a casino, with like a nightlife experience. And so it's like, what do we need to create? Well, we create the breathalyzer phone, an entire network of phones that you cannot access if you're drunk. I don't know. I don't know what to do. That's just a stupid suggestion. But it's like, we can't be trapped in that from birth. And no one's going to come out and say we should, but then let's look at where the money's going. It's like, well, this is what the money's going. You can't, like, no one thought, like, here's this. Like, think about the thousands of years we had books, or not thousands, hundreds of years we had books, right? And there was pornography. Why did no one combine the Bible and a porno mag before? Why did no one do that? It kind of makes sense. It's like this, it's self-contained. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. It's all right. Jesus fucking died for my sins. It's fine. Like, all contained in the one book. No one did it because it was understood that separation of these activities, like 6, 7, sin and fucking salvation, whatever the fuck you want to call it, was necessary. No one wanted to. And that wasn't the actual, it wasn't the idea behind these smartphones. But it's what's inevitably happened. Because people are hypersexual. It's like, we wouldn't have had all the puritanical things against it if there wasn't a problem with people being like this, drinking too much, having sex too much, like prostitution, all these things. So there's always been this balance. It's like now it all is just held in this one device. And unless we turn that device, we have no hope. Or we reject the device. And that's just what I see. It's like, but we cannot be bombarded with this amount of things. It's like, if I think about, like, it's quite acceptable now to have a letterbox and it says no junk mail. Right. So how did we figure that out 30, 40, 50 years ago? No hawkers when it's on your door. But now, where is that here? All right, that was just a sign. And the sign meant no. You know what I mean? Don't bother. Where is that sign in this environment? And how is that, like, that sign cost $10 and I put it in, and it was pretty successful, I think. I'd love to go on. I might go and knock on people's doors and hawk them and fucking survey them because I think it'd be funny. And I'd be like, listen, this is just a once off, but how successful is your sign there? Do you get a lot of people knocking on your door and asking you questions? I think that's fucking hilarious. See, that's what something like the ABC used to do, because the ABC prided itself on not being commercial. But now it's just commercial. It's just selling a different level of commercialism. It's selling that all the doubt, which leads to the thing. It's selling the societal cult in the form of this woke new whatever the fuck it is, and it's missing just the bare bones journalism that should be doing. It's like knocking on hawkers' door, like people with no junk mail stickers, and saying, "Does it work?" Excuse the irony of what I'm doing, but does that sign work? Would you like a sign like that on the internet? Are you happy that there's a brothel that is not just a brothel, but it's a brothel that's that's a broadcasting channel that with no license? And this is the other thing. It's like, why isn't YouTube paying broadcasting licensing fees for its high value content that it's pushing in from overseas? Because it's not working like an even playing field. It's like they have channels that make money. Because they provide the whole thing for everyone, they don't pay licensing fees, and it's got this weird, like, double standard of laws. This is all bad. Like, it's all incredibly complicated, and I haven't seen one person addressing any of this. It's all just down to simple, or we'll just ban it for kids. And it's like, do you know how many fucking things in history that we've tried to ban from kids that hasn't worked? And in fact, it usually makes the problem worse. And you're banning the thing, so it's like because they're now going to think it's bad. If you're banning them, it's bad. Then what are their steps if they want to change anything in this world? If that's the bad thing, it's like, where do they go that's good? Oh, they come straight to us. But you're not even listening on the online platforms. What do you expect them to do? Like write books and letters and like this is the world. It's no different. And it's getting down to it's like, so Abby Chatfield interviewed our Prime Minister, not because she's a political whatever, because she has high views and lots of followers in a place that he's trying to ban. And she's not, in my opinion, she's not much fucking different than a child. Like, she's still basically a child. And she was raised in that system. And she's the pinnacle of that system. That is a conundrum to get to. It's like she's the pinnacle of a system and a pure example of what it is made. Enough to warrant, you know, the privilege of interviewing our Prime Minister, so to say. And she is, you know, one of the most extreme legitimate or legitimized. I don't think she's legitimate. Doesn't mean I don't like her. Like, if I met her at a pub, I'd like her. Or if I let her out at a gig, I'd like her. I just don't think she should be platformed to an entire generation of young girls. They're then being told this. It's like, hey, this is Abby Chatfield. She's the thing to do. And then it's like, but don't use the internet. How the fuck? And again, it's like, this is just the sales and marketing downstream for the psychiatrists and the psychologists. Because that rift is going to send young women insane. Then where do they go? They go to the drugs. It's like, this is all massively bad. And it's not, see, we're not getting these big riots and these events at like nightclubs. Like the thing that actually set off the whole Pride movement was this kind of whatever in New York or something, like the Stonewall, I think it's called. But it's like, this is happening everywhere. It's distributed. So no one's getting outraged to the levels of chaos. Like, there isn't any street shut down with drag queens and poofters and fucking whatever. I don't mean that offensively. It's just throughout the whole system. And so everybody's kind of forced to manage their own little territory online that doesn't have any boundaries, and you certainly can't put a sticker on the front of it that says no junk mail. It's just very weird. I don't feel like I've seen anyone properly address these issues. And I think it's because we're majority led by Gen Xers and Boomers, and they just weren't on the cusp of this. They didn't use the things as much, and they kind of cherry pick what they choose to see and what they choose to listen to about what it's actually like. People like me that were born right on the cusp, like we experienced both, it's like, it's very bad. We're the only people that have that observation, and it's very important. And then you take my example that I have children now that are now teenagers. It's like, it's not ambiguous to me to whether that's my job. It's definitely my fucking job, and I'm doing it, and it's being ignored by the system that's supposed to do, and by the system that's trying to play the game of being like, oh, this is bad, let's ban it for kids. It's like the conversation is 1,000 times more intense than that. It's a stupid, simplistic political tool to try and, you know, sway voters to an all-in strategy. And this is just bait for the anonymous commenters in the comment section that just like to throw these all out. Oh, just do this. Yeah, just bloody kill them all. And that's what it does get to. It's like, guess what the end solution of most of those strategies is? Just kill them all and start again. That's what that is. When you're yelling a single solution in a comment section, if you haven't made hundreds of hours of videos, it's like you're not participating. You're literally yelling out, just kill them all. It's easy. Albo, just kill everyone that isn't agree with us. It's easy. Or it's the opposite. Trump. Just kill everyone. We're just going to kill everyone. This is all we're seeing. These are stupid fucking strategies from an era that doesn't understand. It's like Donald Trump. This has affected you more than anything. If people are online and they're not going out, they're not going to hotels. They're not going to golf clubs. They're not going to all these things that you own in the physical world. So this should be an imperative for every single property developer, every single like entertainment venue, or like distribute all these things, restaurants, all this industry should be concerned with this and about telling the story properly. Like these pirates came in and stole this percentage of our work. Now, my specific industry that I was trying to push into, I was using the internet, but I couldn't provide my service via the internet. It's a physical trade. And this is why we're stuck in this. It's like the low-hanging fruit was invested and bet upon in the stock market and propped up and is now kind of sloshing around trying to create its own reality, but not paying any of the price, whether like morally or like exposure-wise in the media, that it should be, because it is the powerhouse of our economy or of the world economy and of international finance. But it's a dead end because it's already attacked people trying to do the one step back, which is to be a digital presence to do a physical skill. Something that can't be easily commoditized like taxis. You know, something that's more, it's connected to supply chains. It's not just a plug and play. You can't just off the shelf this, like down to the lowest common denominator. And this is what happens in communist institutions. I watched my industry get turned from very skilled contractors who would top to bottom 360 degrees understand an entire project and then distribute labor and skills and all these things, to labor hire companies that just break down the trades into basically grunts and then just shift materials and things around. And the problem is that the quality control is lost at all points. When I was getting trained to do my job, it's like it was drilled into me to check everything at every point, and check the organization, work in with other trades. If you're just steamrolling as an army, like doing this thing, and the people are drilled, like dumbed down to just do a specific task, they miss all the problems. And that causes catastrophic failure down the long, or it has a higher likelihood. And this is what we're in. This is like, we're at catastrophic failure of the digital environment, but nobody is requesting the authority to actually speak to that from experience because they're terrified. Because these floating digital entities have garnered so much power that, and it's so murky. See, none of this is getting exposed. None of this doesn't go to the newspaper. I should have 3 newspapers like doing this every day, because I'm pushing on behalf of the Australian people into push back this invasion of mostly foreign, very disruptive, very like half-assed fucking technological advancement or progress to get us back to where we can actually, you know, negotiate and build and stabilize our communities. But no one would dare. They don't understand what these nerds have got in their closet, what they've got in their little IT rooms, what dirt they've got, like what surveillance. And that's just a fucking terrifying world. And it's the worst nightmare. It's like the purveyors of sin have conquered everything. But the greatest news is it's like they've done it on an infrastructure that is completely useless when it really matters. And I think we need to be reminded of this. You know what I mean? If I have to bail out of here and, you know, if I had to go on a mission through the whatever, like a survival mission, so I'm not taking my phone. It's only a distraction. It is not vital and necessary for life at all. It's just an interface now to the casino. And so I'm at the point where it's like, all right, I become phoneless. I've now only just now introduced, in my 38 years, having a phone handed to me when I was 16 or 15. No, actually, I think I was like 14. I'm only just now designed myself a door to leave the casino that I was ushered into at 14. You know what I mean? I've raised 3, or arguably 3, or up to helped in the raising of 5 children. I've built a business. I've done all these things, all within the walls of the casino. And then, by myself becoming phoneless, I've now built myself a door to leave it. But now, once I leave it, I'm in a wasteland. That's how I literally see this. I'm in a wasteland created by the casino. And I'm trying now to come back in and say, and this is I was joking to my girlfriend yesterday. I'm like, the only reason I use my computer is to defend myself against the computers. That's insane. And I do it basically 24/7. And I think, like, anyone who thinks, it's like, I would rather be doing 1,000 other fucking things. I have 1,000 other things that I could quite well be doing. But if you were there, that's a heavy responsibility. Oh, I built myself a door to leave the casino. And I'm trying to make it law that you all at least know there's a fucking door to get out. From inception, from the moment you were exposed to it. Hey, this is all a bullshit. It's me, a Mario. And I'm telling you, there's a door to get out of this shit, and you can go and grow some fucking tomatoes or something. That's the bare minimum of what should be fucking expected. Yeah, it's not about ban it for kids, because what you're doing by banning it for kids is sneaky as fuck. You're like, hey, it's not for you, it's adults only. So they're just all champing at the bit to get in there. You know there's going to be a glut. And I know that you've said that to these companies. You're like, we're going to hold them back. Some of them are going to use it. And then when they come back when they're 18, they're going to be ravenous. Just like people are lining up to go to clubs and pubs and things like that. Yeah, we didn't come down in the last shower, you fucking dickhead. Right, well, I'm saying that by law, it needs to be known that this is a fucking artificially created environment that is not very well tested or concerned, and that there should 100% be an awareness of a door and a freedom at all points to leave that fucking cesspit and then forge their way to create fucking an actual world, to stabilize and work on an actual functioning country instead of a podcast. It's pretty simple stuff. And it's the bare minimum of what people should be voting on, should be talking about, should be requesting from our government. Not these band-aid solutions that are actually just like sneaky marketing devices in themselves. But concrete solutions, and this is vital for citizens of this country to understand they live in Australia, they don't live on the fucking internet. Yeah, if they want to put roots down, they put it down here. Because at the moment, our entire housing market is being turned into a hotel that is on the outskirts of a digital casino, and that hotel is not Australian-owned. The casino is not Australian-owned. It is absolutely an invasion of our conceptual territory. And I've already showed yesterday that I am ready to make aggressive and violent retaliatory measures and to take those measures. But I can't do that without the permission of things. So then what does that do? It pushes me either into terror. So you'll be sitting there on your fucking internet, and then terrorists like me, which is what I will become if I'm pushed to that, will fuck you up. Basically in your sleep while you're plugged into the fucking casino. Or even more ingeniously, we'll just harvest from this casino on the edges, on the dark areas, on the blind spots, on the, you know what I mean? And that will become increasingly easier as you were all lulled into a stupor chasing the Prime Minister's carrot and avoiding his stick as he fucking ushers your children into the fucking next generation of fucking digital hell. So yeah, there's some strong feelings here. And I think these are the types of conversations we need to have. I would rather know that Donald Trump owns a casino and go to that casino and, you know, respect his authority within that, in the walls of that casino and participate and know that he's got it under control, than let this fucking out of control nerd empire roll over every fucking scrap of fucking earth. You never know what you've got until it's gone. You know what I mean? Hooroo.